The dark side of being responsible with money. Meet the responsible person. On paper, his life is perfect. He follows every rule. He spends less than he earns. He maximizes his savings rate. He tracks every expense in a spreadsheet. To the outside world, he is the model of success. Friends envy his discipline. Family praises his stability. He is standing on a mountain of financial safety. But if you could look inside his mind, you wouldn't see peace. You would see a prison. This is the dark side of financial responsibility, a subject no one talks about, because we are taught that more savings equals more happiness. But for a specific type of person, the mechanics of wealth creation slowly become a pathology. Let's look at the reality of this responsible life. Imagine you are walking down the street. It is a sunny day. You have $50,000 in the bank. You have zero debt. You decide to buy a coffee. It costs $5. Mathematically, this purchase is irrelevant. It represents 0.01% of your net worth. It changes nothing about your future. But when you tap your card, you don't feel the coffee. You feel a pinch, a microdose of guilt. Your brain immediately runs a calculation. If I invested this $5 instead, it would be $80 in 30 years. Did I really need this? Was this a waste? You drink the coffee, but you don't taste it. You taste the opportunity cost. This is not discipline. This is a disorder. And it is the first symptom of the dark side. The inability to convert money into well-being. We are told that the purpose of money is to provide freedom. But for the hyper-responsible mind, money does not buy freedom. It buys anxiety. The more you have, the more you are terrified of losing it. You are like a man who builds a beautiful castle. But instead of living in the rooms, he spends 24 hours a day guarding the gate. He owns the castle, but psychologically the castle owns him. This creates a strange paradox. The responsible person is often the most stressed person in the room. Not because they are broke, but because they have trapped themselves in a game that never ends. They are waiting for a permission slip to enjoy life. A permission slip that never arrives. Look at the thumbnail of this video. You see the stack of money? That represents your responsibility. It is high. It is stable. But look at the weight crushing the character. That is the shadow cost of that stability. The refusal to live in the present, for fear of a future that is already secure. Most financial advice tells you how to build the stack, but almost no one tells you how to lift the weight. In this video, we are going to dismantle the myth of responsibility. We are going to explore why your brain punishes you for spending, why delayed gratification can become a toxic trap, and how to finally transition from being a saver to being a liver. If you have ever felt guilty for spending money you have, or felt anxious despite being safe, this breakdown is for you. It starts with understanding one crucial truth. Being good with money and having a good relationship with money are two completely different things. And usually, if you're excellent at the first one, you are terrible at the second. The tragedy of the responsible mind is that it believes in a finish line. You tell yourself a lie. Once I hit $10,000 in savings, I will relax. Once I own a house, I will feel safe. Once I reach this net worth, I will stop worrying. But then, you reach the number, and a strange thing happens. The relief does not come. The anxiety does not vanish. It simply shifts. The goalpost moves. Yesterday, $10,000 felt like a fortress. Today, it feels like nothing. Now you need $50,000 to feel the same level of safety. This is what psychologists call the horizon trap. No matter how far you walk, the horizon remains the same distance away. Why does this happen? Because your brain is not addicted to the money. It is addicted to the act of accumulating. It is addicted to the feeling of preparing. When you stop preparing, you feel vulnerable. Even if you are wearing a suit of armor, the moment you take off your helmet, you feel exposed, so you keep the armor on. Heavier, thicker, stronger. until the weight of the armor makes it impossible to move. This is where prudence transforms into paranoia. The responsible person stops seeing money as a tool for life and starts seeing it as a shield against death, against disaster, against the unknown. You become an expert at imagining worst-case scenarios. What if the market crashes? What if I lose my job? What if a medical emergency wipes me out? These questions are not based on probability. They are based on fear. And because the world is uncertain, fear can always find a reason to exist. So you hoard. You stockpile. You delay joy. You become a future-biased machine. You kidnap joy from your present self to donate it to a future self. But here is the brutal truth. You are suffering for a version of you that doesn't exist yet, while the version of you that is alive right now is slowly suffocating under the spreadsheet. You have mastered the art of survival, but you have forgotten the art of living. And the cruelest joke of all? The more you save, the more you have to lose. So the stress doesn't go down as your wealth goes up. It scales linearly. You built a golden cage and locked yourself inside. And you threw away the key, calling it discipline. The most dangerous part of this trap is not what it does to you. It is what it does to the people around you. When you are obsessed with financial safety, you become the person who says no. No to the expensive dinner with friends. No to the family vacation because it's peak season prices. No to the spontaneity of life. You rationalize this as being smart. You tell yourself you are sacrificing for their future. But here is the cold reality. Your family does not want your future money. They want your present presence. There is a famous palliative care nurse named Bronnie Ware. She spent years caring for people in the last 12 weeks of their lives. She recorded their biggest regrets. Do you know what she found? Not a single person said, "I wish I had saved more money." Not one. The number 2 most common regret was, "I wish I hadn't worked so hard." And the number 1 regret was, "I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." The responsible saver is often guilty of both. You are working hard to build a safety net for a life you are not actually living. I want you to imagine a scenario. Imagine you are 80 years old. You are sitting in a paid-off house. Your investment accounts are full. You are completely safe, but the phone doesn't ring. Your children rarely visit. Why? Because for 30 years, every time they wanted to create a memory, you calculated the cost. You treated experiences as expenses to be minimized instead of investments in relationships. You saved the money, but you spent the relationship. And unlike money, relationships do not compound when you ignore them. They depreciate. They wither. This is the hidden tax of hyper-responsibility. You maximize your net worth, but you bankrupt your memory dividends. Die with Zero author Bill Perkins calls this memory dividends. The idea is that experiences give you joy the moment they happen, but they also pay you a dividend of joy every time you remember them. When you skip the trip to save $2,000, you aren't just saving cash, you are erasing decades of future memories. You are killing the stories you would have told your grandchildren. Is that $2,000 sitting in an index fund really worth more than that? To the mathematical brain, yes. To the human soul, absolutely not. We need to stop pretending that optimization is a virtue. Sometimes the smartest financial move is the dumbest human move. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. And in the end, being the richest man in the graveyard is not a victory. It is a tragedy. So how do we escape this trap? How do we stop being a prisoner of our own responsibility? The answer is not to become reckless. We are not telling you to blow your savings on a Ferrari. The answer is to shift from mindless accumulation to intentional living. Step 1 is to define enough. Not a vague idea of more, but a specific number. Sit down and calculate. What is the exact amount I need to feel safe? Is it 6 months of expenses? Is it 1 year? Whatever that number is, hit it. And then this is the hard part. Stop. Once the safety bucket is full, every extra dollar should have a job. And that job is not safety. That job is living. Give yourself a worry-free allowance. This is money that you are required to waste. Yes, waste. Buy the expensive coffee. Take the spontaneous trip. Upgrade your seat. Train your brain that spending money does not result in death. It results in joy. This is exposure therapy for your wallet. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. The alarm bells in your head will ring, but slowly the noise will fade. You will realize that the castle didn't crumble just because you lowered the drawbridge. You will realize that money is meant to be fuel. Fuel to burn, not a trophy to polish. Ultimately, financial freedom has nothing to do with your net worth. I know millionaires who are slaves to the market, and I know teachers who are completely free. Freedom is the ability to use money without being used by money. It is the ability to sleep at night, not because you have a hoard of cash, but because you have made peace with uncertainty. Don't wait for the perfect time to enjoy your life. That time is a ghost. It doesn't exist. The only time you truly own is right now. So ask yourself, are you saving for a life you are actually going to live? Or are you just seeing how high you can stack the score before the game shuts off? Because the game will shut off. Make sure you played it. If this video made you feel seen, if it articulated a pressure you've carried for years, then you are in the right place. Most finance channels teach you how to make money. We teach you how to master the mind behind the money. We are building a community of thinkers, not just savers. If you want to understand the psychology of wealth, click that subscribe button. Share this with the one person in your life who needs to hear this. Don't just watch, understand. Welcome to Mindvantic. Clarity comes before action.